Yeah, I'm going up here to get me a milkshake, and I just had this thought. When you realize you're dealing with a psychopath, it's actually time to make some serious changes, because these psychopaths, they have triggers, right? And it's really like one of their triggers, if they're in fear, you can actually see the narcissistic thing kicks in even more. And so everything that they're doing, they have to project it onto somebody else, and they can go crazy. The narcissist is a psychopath. Now they can control it to a degree, but when things start to get, when the pressure kicks in, they actually lose. They actually go to extremes, I tell you, when you've been surrounded by them and you know what they are, it's really a trip. The flesh mind just gets worse and worse with age, and when they're under pressure, they lose it even more. And so the flesh mind creates more drama and more trouble than needs to be there, It's really off the roof, to be honest with you. I mean, these people, they live in some kind of psychological warfare in their mind. They go into fear, and so they have to project that out, and something they messed up on makes them fear. They have to project it onto somebody else, like they're the ones doing it, but they messed up, so they have to project it onto another person because they're afraid, whatever it is. And it's like, it's almost like God is protecting you, showing you that this person's irrational, and if they're irrational, you're calm, cool, collected. God is protecting you to keep your distance, They become more irrational as they get older. It's really sad. It could be family, spouse, co-worker. I mean, these people are a trip, to be honest with you. They really kind of blow your mind. I don't even know how they even exist. I don't even know how they get out of bed in the morning. Because when you really pay attention to them and you see that their mind resists any kind of accountability at all, it's in them. The thing that they're dealing with is in them. They're at fault, but they have to project everything out. How do they function in life? It makes you wonder, how do they even function? Really?
What can I get for you?
Yeah, let me get a Oreo milkshake.
Did you want whipped cream on that?
Might as well. Spoon, add a spoon.
Alright, works 22.
I just did my boiled eggs in the air fryer. Somebody at work taught me that a long time ago, a couple years ago, and it was really saved my life because if you just eat 2 eggs, you got most of your nutrients, and especially if you do the keto diet and if you do intermittent fasting. Like after it's 4:30 now, Juneteenth or whatever you call this holiday. And so after I eat this milkshake, I'm going to eat anything else until 8 o'clock the next morning. But these people have people around them that enable their insanity. They're enabled by people who won't stand up to their insanity. And so those enablers make them more sick. And then when they come across a truther who speaks the truth and holds them accountable to their insanity, their delusions, and you hit them in the face with, hey, I think it's you. You're the problem. And you hit them in the face with it, and nobody else is willing to do it. They're in shock. They're in shock because they ain't never seen it before. The people that they surround themselves with, the flying monkeys, actually are doing them a disservice by letting them run ramp shot or whatever the word is. I ain't used it in so long. Ram shot, I think it is. They're letting them run ram shot, and nobody's holding them accountable because they either need their money or their attention or their time or whatever, because they don't want to be they need something from that person. And so that person's using that leverage to stay in the fake reality bubble that they're the problem. And whatever that leverage is, whether it's money, attention, time, whatever, they think because they manipulated everybody else in their life that they can manipulate you. And then when you keep the boundaries up, see, they want to drop all your boundaries. Their goal is to control you, to get you away from people, places, things. If it's on a job, they don't want you having another job. They don't want to have another income. They don't want you not needing them. This is the corporate agenda. When you don't need them, they're mad. I promise you, the corporations are the narcissistic copy machine for people. So the corporations create narcissists in the home, and then the narcissists in the home create copies of themselves in their children. They run their home like the corporation, and then it just keeps recycling. And the Bible says in the last days it will get worse and 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 worse, right? Now, I do believe in capitalism, but extreme capitalism is the problem. Just like socialism, we have socialism in this country. But anything extreme is the problem. And so these people who don't want to be held accountable, these people who don't want to be called out on their junk, their stupidity, they probably never got a spanking. Or maybe they got a spanking, they said, nobody's going to treat me bad ever again, and they become psychopathic. It might have been the opposite. They got too many spankings, or they didn't get any. So they flip reality, and they want to manipulate people like a puppet. But when they find people that they can't manipulate, they have to defame them, lie about them, all this. Because when you see through the mask, you see the psychopath behind the mask. And everybody has that ability in the flesh mind, right? 322 right there. Everybody has that psychopathic ability to go. But not everybody would be able to master it like they can master it and hide it. And imagine all their gymnastics that they have to do to hide it. Imagine all the lies they have to tell all these different people to hide these mental, verbal gymnastics to keep everybody in. And I noticed this growing up. They treat people different when they're around different people. In other words, when they're around this person, they act a certain way. When they're around this person, they act a certain way. When they're around this person, they act a certain way. You know something's wrong when somebody changes who they are and how they are when they get around other people. You know something's up. You know the jig is up. Because if they have to change who they are, who are they? They're nobody. They're not even real people. So I got this milkshake. And I'm going back to the simple things in life. And as if I see narcissism like a little bit, I'm walking away and I'm like, I don't think so. Either go get healed and come back later or go away. Maybe go to counseling. See, they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want a mediator. They don't want they don't want anybody in between because they want to hide. If they can't manipulate a situation, they're not going to be a part of it. They're only going to be in situations they can manipulate. And when you wake up to what you're dealing with, you're looking at a person who is looking for, in other words, they're like psychopathic emotional terrorists. They're trying to find something that you want or need and then try to manipulate that. I don't know why they fill these things to the brim. These are master manipulators, and the best thing to do when you see it, if you can't distance yourself instantly, just slowly distance it.